Matter, derived from mater and matrix, referring to the womb and problems of reproduction. In both Greek and Latin, according to Butler, matter was not understood to be a blank slate awaiting the application of external meaning. The matrix is a formative principle which inaugurates and informs a development of some organism or object. For Aristotle, matter is potentiality, form, actuality. In reproduction, women are said to contribute the matter, men the form. As Butler notes, the title of her book, Bodies That Matter, is a well-thought-out pun. To be material is to speak about the process of materialization, and if viewpoints about sex and sexuality are already embedded in our philosophical concepts of how matter forms into bodies, the matter of bodies cannot form a neutral, pre-existing ground from which to understand the origins of sexual difference. Since matter already contains notions of gender and sexuality, it cannot be a neutral recourse on which to build scientific or objective theories of sexual development and differentiation. At the same time, we have to acknowledge and use aspects of materiality that pertain to the body, the domains of biology, anatomy, physiology, hormonal and chemical composition, illness, age, weight, metabolism, life, and death cannot be denied. The critical theorist Bernice Hausmann criticizes this point in her discussion of surgical technologies available for creating male-to-female versus female-to-male transsexual bodies. Task in the process of laboring to reproduce the conditions of private life. This domain of the less than rational human bonds bounds the figure of human reason, producing that man, as one who is without a childhood, is not a primate and is relieved of the necessity of eating, defecating, living, and dying, one who is not a slave, but always a property holder, one whose language remains originary and untranslatable. This is a figure of disembodiment, but one which is nevertheless a figure of a body, bodying forth of a masculinized rationality, the figure of a male body which is not a body, a figure in crisis, a figure that enacts a crisis it cannot fully control. This figuration of masculine reason as disembodied body is one whose imaginary morphology is crafted through the exclusion of other possible bodies. This is materialization of reason, which operates through dematerialization of other bodies, for the feminine, strictly speaking, has no morphology, no contour, for it is that which contributes to the contouring of things, but is itself undifferentiated, without boundary. The body that is reason dematerializes the bodies that may not properly stand for reason or its replicas, and yet this is a figure in crisis, for this body of reason is itself the phantasmic dematerialization of masculinity, one which requires that women and slaves, children and animals be the body, perform the bodily functions that it will not perform. Irigaray does not always help matters here, for she fails to follow through the metonymic link between women and these others, idealizing and appropriating the elsewhere as the feminine. But what is the elsewhere of Irigaray's elsewhere? If the feminine is not the only or primary kind of being that is excluded from the economy of masculinist reason, what and who is excluded in the course of Irigaray's analysis?